Hey guys, Ship here again. Hope you're all good. We've had a few requests for some Gate of the Void content, so not too long. I'm just going to show you kind of what a few of the nodes in the Realms Gate look like. So that's one of the game modes here. As you can see when you go in, you've got Compass of the Transcended. That's where all of the players with E5s are getting their new heroes from. It's really good odds to get, well, you guaranteed a 5-star, but you can see you can select 2 heroes, one from Light Dark and one from the standard factions, which will allow you to get increasing odds for every summon you use to get that hero. As you can see, since the announcement of Garuda getting her Void imprints, I am now hunting for some Garudas. The Evolution Cube, which is where you make your Transcendence heroes. So at the moment it's only Queen and Xia, soon to be Asmodel. You can see the Obelisk of Heroes. I'm not going to go into this because it's quite long-winded, but this is basically like a server-wide high scores for all the servers on iOS. You can see kind of every player, and their points there are based on how many heroes they have in that faction. The Void Temple, this is kind of just showing you what buffs you have whilst you're in the Void based on how much of the game you've completed. And obviously allows you to warp around and go to different areas, but yeah, basically just shows you the buffs you have based on how much of the rest of the game you've played whilst fighting in the Void. So that helps towards any Realms Gates fights and also the Void Vortex fights. So this is like a smash reward, so I've cleared one stage of this already. This is kind of like a really difficult PvP style fight. The enemies have huge health pools. I will give you one example. You can see up here, protected factions. Pause this now if you want to have a quick look, but basically if you don't have the protected faction of your heroes up, they get massive reductions in their stats. Penalties like CCs, etc. But basically, you should be okay in this one. In Pioneer 6, you usually get stuck around Pioneer 4 on this account. Don't have the pet or the depth of heroes to kind of beat some of the waves, but they hit like absolute trucks, as you can see. It's not an easy game mode. So that's the general idea anyway. All these different kind of planets will have different lineups, and then when you beat all these, you go to Pioneer 5 and so on, and you go kind of down all the way to Pioneer 1. Once you pass Pioneer 1, you go into Explorer, and then once you pass Explorer, you go into Valiant. The furthest anyone is at the moment looks like that is Defiler. What rank? Defiler 6. So anyone on an IS server, this is the furthest they've got so far. No one has got to Defiler 1 yet, so you can imagine how difficult that is. So Realms Gate, this is what I'm here to show you. So this is kind of like a fun, new, kind of gimmicky sort of addition to the game. Basically, you start at level 1 in the first square, and you make your way across, kind of like if you've ever played Civilization, you move diagonally across the hexagons. The Void Corruption is like the level, the difficulty, so we'll notch that up to 13. So I have to complete this run at 13 to be able to run it at 14, and as you go up in difficulty level, the rewards get better and better over time. But basically, you enter a node, you get to kind of run around. It's the only thing like this in the game at the moment. You go and find your fight. Not sure how we're going to fare here because I've obviously skipped up the Inosuke and the Morax, but yeah, Russell coming in clutch there. Thanks, buddy. So remove the fodder from earlier because we were just doing some test runs for the hero reviews. But basically, for each hero you find as you're running through the Realms Gate, you'll fight 6 heroes from that faction. Russell never ceases to amaze me. So this will be all forest heroes, and you'll basically get the 6 best forest heroes. It'll be a mixture of support and damage dealers. So you can see like Garuda's in there, but then the rest is mostly support. Obviously you've got Gru as like a tank, but we'll see what we face against the other factions as well. This is quite easy, so I'm thinking that maybe this account's sort of ready to start pushing for maybe like 16, 17 Void Corruption, so I might play a few more. These are, I mean, depending on which node you pick, you get different kind of buffs or rewards, and then once you finish, you move on to the next one. So for Dark, you're going to be fighting a Sleepless, an Amun-Ra, DA, Aspen, Carry, and Amavor. Obviously with that buff to damage against Dark Heroes there, absolutely massive active. In Abyss, who we got King Barton, Cruz, who I forgot the name of earlier, sorry Cruz, Queen, Delacium, Scary, who's not that scary anymore, and Nakia. So just for a bit of context, I think Nate on his main account, which we reviewed the other day, the VIP 13 account on server 1292, he's doing this at Void Corruption level 45 right now. On my main, I could probably push kind of in the 20s. So it does get significantly more difficult as you go up. So here we got Horus, Gustin, Kamath, Jara, Ithaca, and Bloodblade. Very dot heavy Shadow. Who have we got in Fortress? So you've got Sigmund, Unimax, Ormus, Valentino, Flamestrike, and Penny. I can imagine those pennies and the Unimaxes at a higher level are an absolute pain here with the health pools that seem to be available in the Void. To be fair, even at Void Corruption 13, like, they're doing some work on the team. Got the Russell there at the end as well. I must still have the Planet Strike on. Unless they had something that cut through the Unbending Will, maybe. I think we've fought all the factions there. I'll skip ahead until we find a different style of node so you can see some of the different kind of challenges you get. Oh yes, the realisation that actually you can't skip nodes, you can only skip the fights whilst you're in the node. I'm used to just smashing. So here you can see the dummy. This is effectively like a mini boss. We'll do him last before we open the portal. Cool, looks like it's just him left. So they cost a bit of extra energy. You can see here, by the way, the resources you need up top there. 165 out of 240. You can't increase that cap of 240, unfortunately. And each fight you take or event that you complete whilst in the Realms Gate costs between 5 and 10. You can see the mini bosses cost 10. We'll watch this fight. I do sometimes lose these. They have a huge amount of health, as you can see, and they hit fairly hard. Morax with the big active there. Thanks, Morax. But yeah, for puppets, they're pretty hard. Just for any new players watching this, just so you know, that is not how puppets fight in the game, so please do not level a puppet thinking that they're going to do that to an E5 team. You can, well, potentially, you can see why I skip quite a lot of this, because the running around when you can just smash it is a bit monotonous, but I think obviously for players that haven't experienced the Void before, this is pretty cool. On your kind of 30th, 40th run through, it does get a little bit tedious. But for the content, we shall strive through to get to a different node just to show you some as much as we can with the 240 void energy that we have. So the next one's going to be something a little bit different, as you can see by the symbols on the hexagon map. Cool, so let's jump in here. So this is a void crystal. We've detected stable void energy that's been shaping its crystalline form. This energy core may come in handy. So here we go. You can see what that does. Same again. And then this will be the final boss. For the second wave, might I say. You do get an even bigger boss on the last round of the 5th wave. This should be a similar fight to the last ones. I'm not sure if dummies get the faction boosts or not. Even so, that should only really have a negative impact on Rogan. And I'd say the impact they make on Rogan will be less than the impact that Inosuke makes on them. Cool, so that is what I got from the mine. You might have seen at the start of Wave 2 there was a mine, which is one of these nodes here, or a cavern, apologies. You basically leave your hero in one of the caverns, and then when you finish this level, you get your hero back. Depending on, in a similar kind of way to how the tavern quests work, you have to tick off certain boxes with the hero you leave in there to get the bonus rewards. So it might ask you for a fortress ranger, it might ask you for a forest warrior. The minimum level hero you can leave in there is a 10 star. You can't leave anything lower than a 10 star in there. So you are without that hero then for the rest of your Realms Gate fights until you complete the level. But yeah, guys, that's a kind of quick overview into Realms Gate. Obviously the Void Vortex it's a pretty simple game mode. There's not much to it, it's just you fight until you come up against teams that you can't beat anymore. You use protection symbols when you get stuck slightly on a wave. But over here, these guys, what we get at the moment is coming soon. We know obviously the eggs have been released on TapTap servers. It looks like it's a new pet, Void Pet, which is going to buff specific factions based on the options you take. So that is it, guys, for today. Thanks for coming, and we'll see you for the next one.